Hello again and welcome back, everybody, to another edition of the Rural Report. I am your Rural 2IC, and I want to ask you a question. So, I was just recently watching a movie with the family, and in the movie, there was the line of, I did all this before lunchtime, and, I saved the world from oblivion, and nobody knew you know and it kind of brings you back. It wasn't this movie, but it was I think it was one of the Men in Black. You learned whatever, yesterday. You learned this morning. You learned this just now. Imagine what you will learn tomorrow. And it gives you a little bit of a humbling experience of, we don't know it all and we'll never know it all. But in the same movie, they also say that a person is smart. People are dumb, panicky creatures and whatnot. I butchered the line, but you get the idea. And it kind of rings true to a lot of things. And so there is, okay, there is a lot of stuff that goes around the world all the time. Okay. There's evil people doing evil things, there's special operations units, there's assassinations, there's all sorts of stuff. Okay. That's going on. And so it brings it into it of, could you imagine the stress level of your life if you literally knew everything? Okay, you rubbed the genie in the bottle, you tripped over some magic gnome or whatever it is, and all of a sudden you got granted the power of knowing everything. Basically, you had the computer in your brain without Elon Musk's help. And so, could you imagine to sit there and blink your eye and know that there's a missile incoming for an apartment building, that there's a comet racing towards, the planet, that there's a screw loose that is going to cause a nuclear power plant to go up? I mean, could you imagine having that knowledge? You would freak out. You wouldn't be able to handle that sort of knowledge. There's so many things. How many back channel negotiations are going on right now about world ending events or major catastrophe. I mean, we don't need to know everything. Okay. There's a lot of things that we do need to know. There's a lot of things that they at least should make public and let the public decide if they want to put the effort into knowing it in the first place. But sometimes ignorance is bliss. And I think there's a couple of different movies and books and things of, the asteroid coming towards Earth. And they're like, okay, this is a world ending thing. There's nothing we can do about it and all that. Yeah, I probably wouldn't want to know, what are you really going to do? And it's going to be one of those ones, well, there's so many things I want to do. If I knew that, the world's ending in 12 hours, I would, run around and do all these things. Why do you need that excuse in the first place? Why don't you just do it now? Just get up and go do it. Why do you have to have a SHTF world ending event in order for you to go get something done? And I think that's true with a lot of prepping. And so, why is it that people put things off? I look around and I go, oh, you know what? I'm a little low on water. I'll get it this weekend, or I'll get it next week when I get paid. Something along those lines. Why do we let excuses dictate how well we prepare? We don't know when SHTF is going to happen. We don't know how it's going to happen, why it's going to happen. We don't know how long we're going to have to endure it when it does happen. So why would you wait? Why would you put it off? Why not just get it done now and be done with it? Why is it that we put off building skill and relationships? Well, I don't really have the extra $50 for this ticket. I'll go next year. What happens if there's not a next year? Well, I really want to buy this firearm because, I don't have one, but I also want to go to the movies with my friends. Okay. If SHTF hits tomorrow, which one is going to be more important? Watching a movie with your friends or getting a self defense tool? And so I think that there's a lot of people that if they really sat down and they really looked and they self-assessed and they started to see all the excuses that they made. If you think that you are, then there's time to fix it. If you think that you're not, I would challenge you. Get a piece of paper, and every time that you put something off, write it down. And I bet you it's probably not going to take very long for that list to get pretty big. I think most people are guilty of it. Now, some will be better than others where, they'll have a pretty short list. I think a lot of people, it would surprise you on how many things that you actually put off on a day-to-day basis. And it doesn't have to be anything important. It could be that thing of you're vacuuming the floor and you go, I've got to go to the bathroom, but I'm going to go ahead and finish vacuuming, and then I'm going to, hang the laundry up and then do this, then I'll go. Well, you're putting something off, and I know it's a silly example, trust me. Going into a different one. Let's just go that way because I know somebody's going to complain about that one. Uh, it'd be one of those ones of you hear the washer kick off and you need to take the laundry out and hang it up, but there's still 45 minutes in the movie. Okay, well, which is more important, finishing that movie or getting 45 minutes of time into drying those clothes? Those clothes are way more important than that movie. You can hit pause, you can hit stop, you can watch it tomorrow. Even if it was, the second you hit a button, that movie disappears forever. Clothes are still more important, okay? You're going to need clean, dry clothes. That movie, for probably 99.9 out of 100, is just for entertainment purposes only. It's not going to teach you anything. It's not going to do anything to where it's going to broaden your mind or your horizons, and it's going to make it to where you're some nuclear astrophysicist, whatever. I'm sure I butchered that up, but whatever. The point of it is that I think when it comes down to a lot of this is you need to really look and you need to make sure that you are on pace, that you're on some sort of goal. If you don't have a goal, you need to set a few. Okay, doesn't matter what age you are, it doesn't matter what your situation is. Every single one of us needs to have goals, and if you don't have one, I challenge you, go ahead and make one. At least set a short-term goal. Give you something that you want to achieve or want to do, and set that goal, set a time limit, set the points. How do I achieve this? What's my time limit to do this? How do I measure myself? And you can do a thing. All right, I want this firearm. It's $200 and I want to buy it in a month's time. Okay, you have a what? And you have, a time frame. Now, what am I going to do? Well, in a month's time, I get paid twice. Okay, so doing the quick math, I need at least $100 put back a paycheck. Okay, so now I know in 2 weeks, if I only put back 90, I'm behind schedule. If I put back 120, I'm ahead of schedule. I have a way to measure how I'm doing as I go through this. Now you can really push yourself and you can do short-term, medium, and long-term goals and make them to where they coincide with each other, okay? First, I want to purchase a firearm. Medium, I want to get proficient in that firearm. Long term, I want to do, one competition to see, how I measure up against some other people. Okay. So now you have a short term, now you have a medium, and now you have an ultimate long term goal. And you can sit there and have them work together. You're never going to get to that long term goal till you get to that short one, until you get that medium, until you can check those off your list. It's not going to happen. And so you can do that. What is your ultimate goal? Is your ultimate goal that you want to go completely off grid? Good. What do you need to do that? I want a homestead. I want a farm. Great. How do you get there? What is some starting out things I need to do? Well, I need to save money. I need to learn. Great. Write those down. Now, from doing that to here, what's those medium things? How do I take that stepping stone? How do I get from here to my ultimate goal? And do that. And so that way you are setting yourself up for success. Okay. Some of us have higher aspirations than others, and it's okay. one of the big mistakes I see a bunch of people make is that you have somebody that is very successful. They have a good, small medium business. They have, employees. They've got 100 acres and all this other stuff and everything. And then somebody comes along and they go, wow, uh, the way that I look at, your life and all that stuff, I kind of want that for myself. And they go, great. And then the other person goes, I'd love to have something like a 2 acre farm. And they go, no, you need like, at least 20 acres. At the very least, you need 20. No, some people just, they don't want all that. They want this. Some people dream bigger. Some people aspire to be bigger. Some people just want right here and they'll be perfectly happy and fine with it. Some people can't do this. They can't maintain this. This is their goal. And if that's their dream, more power to you. I want to see each and every one of you succeed. I want to see each and every one of you be happy. I believe it was Carly Fairchild when I was watching her interview, or prepping with Sarge was interviewing her. Let me phrase it correctly. And it was the saying of the rising tide lifts everybody, and that's the way it needs to be. The competition, as long as, and competition's healthy as long as it's friendly and done correctly, but the competition of don't watch that guy or don't do this and that, all that negative, it doesn't do a whole lot. Okay, remember, what do I say at the very end of this? We're all prepping in this together. And so just because there might be something that I disagree with doesn't necessarily make it wrong. Okay, so if, I don't know, let's say, okay, the color red. Let's say I despise the color red, and there's a small group of guys, or people. Let's go with people. Small group of men and women, and they all love the color red. Well, if that's a thing that I just cannot overlook. It just enrages me to see red. It doesn't make them wrong. It doesn't make them bad people. They can go off over here and form their little group and their little society and things like that. I can be down here doing the same in here. And if something happens and there was a crisis, you can overlook small things. Hey, I hate red, but I want to see you suffer. I will come to your aid. Now, once it's all settled and once everything's good, I'm going back over here. I still don't like red, but it doesn't mean that I have to make it to where that small of an issue makes it to where other people have to suffer. And so that might be a bad analogy. Maybe some of you don't follow on that. You have to have your red lines, okay? If there's a group out there that they like to punch puppies in the face, we're probably not going to get along, okay? It's just one of those ones that's a red line for me. Yeah, we're going to leave it at that. That's a red line. Sorry, don't punch puppies in the face, okay? All right. I'm gonna end with that one because there's a bunch of tangent points that I really want to jump off here, but for the sake of time, I think we've covered a decent amount. Maybe we'll jump back in and we'll do a part 2. So I appreciate you for hanging around with me a little bit today. I hope you guys have a blessed rest of your day, and stay tuned. There's definitely more information to come. Say it with me now because we already said it before. Above all else, remember to remain united because we're all prepping in this together.